like study strategies. I mean, like different classes require different study techniques. And I really struggled with that like the first 2 semesters. And again, it just comes back to asking questions and like not being, shy. It's like ask your roommate or ask whatever, like, hey, how are you studying? You're asking a random person, not like a random person, but like ask another person like in your lab group or whatever. Like, how are you studying? Again, that's was my biggest challenge in the physio major, but once you get a hang of it, I think it's pretty smooth cruising from there.
I would say I struggled with two things. First was just finding opportunities around the campus because at first I didn't really know like what clubs there were like offering and stuff. And I would say the other thing is just like for me personally, just as English is my second language. So I didn't, I think I spent more time studying than other students. So that also took time for me to also like know how to time manage my schedule with other extracurricular activities.
I agree. I think the hardest part for me was balancing extracurriculars while doing the physiology classes, and also when it's time to study for the MCAT, as I think the two juniors were talking about. It was really difficult to make time for that, and I ended up like it was fine. I made time. It just seemed stressful off the bat until you just take the time to make a calendar, like plan out your schedule. So that I think was the most difficult time period, like around studying for the MCAT, or like if you're studying for another graduate admissions test or anything like that, that's like the hardest time. But planning and schedules will get you through that.
Yeah, just to kind of reiterate, I definitely think time management is the most difficult, especially because I also financially support myself. So having a job on top of everything was definitely a lot. And in the beginning, it's super overwhelming, but your planner is your best friend and like really allocating your time. And I would say the thing that helped me the most is scheduling out a 4-year plan. Like, for me, like, I didn't just schedule out like my semester. Like, I like was my own advisor. Yes, the advisors that I went to like helped me so much, but it's not their job to know your whole life and what you want to do and like what you want to fit in. So I feel like the thing that helped me was planning out every single semester of my college and like figuring out what I wanted to do and which ones, like which hard classes, chunk it with some of my easier classes. And I also did not really take barely any gen eds freshman year. I kind of did the opposite of everyone because I knew I wanted to have multiple majors and I knew I was going to have a job, and I just knew that my last 2 years, I didn't want to have all my hard classes, and I didn't want my freshman year to just be, oh, I'm going to take a bunch of gen eds. I switched it. So I actually like would really highly recommend shoving in an extra. I know they don't want you to do like 2 sciences in the beginning. I'm here to say so possible, so easy, like do it. Like push yourself and like do like a couple difficult ones in the beginning, because you'll also like need to know how to work in that way anyways, because then you're going to have double sciences anyways. But I would say for me, manipulating my schedule to myself is the thing that helped the biggest challenge of school, work, life, social, and extracurriculars.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And your academic advisor will definitely help you with kind of figuring that all out. Like Emily was saying, everybody is unique. There obviously are these guiding documents and principles about our major and how to set it all up. But there's so much help available on campus, whether that's your academic advisor to help you kind of get that all down on paper. I think this was already mentioned in the chat, but there's also like pre-health advising on campus that helps students with kind of getting everything organized with graduate school, specifically health science related graduate programs. They're available on campus as well, and they can help students make sure they're checking all the boxes for medical school or PA school or dentistry or any of those things. So yeah, there's a lot of support on campus, and none of you mentioned it specifically, but I hope that when you were going through some of those challenges, you also were tapping into things like supplemental instruction and think tank and those types of things that we have on campus that can help you kind of figure out like, what strengths do I have, or how do I like to study? Those things are not things that you need to feel like you come into college and you already know that. As you can see from what our students just said, they kind of went through that journey as a college student, figuring out what worked for them for their time management and what they had on their plate. So I think that's really common to come in first year and feel like totally out of sorts because you're like, what am I doing? How do I organize my time? But, I think that these responses definitely show that you figure it out over time, and you'll figure it out as an individual. You might be different from all of your study partners and how you like to study.